Hello Aries, this is your first quarter reading for 2020, January, February and March. Aries, when I was pulling my Shapeshifters Oracle card, which is You Are Unlike Anyone Else, I got a super clear image of a movie called The Heiress. I'm a bit of a black and white movie fan, so this is your homework. You have to watch this film. It's one of my absolute favourites. I honestly cannot remember the last time I saw it. It must be decades ago, but it was one of my my mum and I, we always watched black and white movies. You know, back on Sundays they always had like really good stuff on. It was always Betty Davis for me. But there was always a black and white movie on a Sunday. Anywho, you have to watch this movie. It's Olivia de Havilland and Montgomery Clift. Basically, he is probably, definitely, a bit of a fortune hunter. And Olivia de Havilland, who I think her name's Catherine in the movie, she is an only child. She's been brought up by her father, who is a doctor who's lost his wife and is a horribly abusive man. He thinks nothing of Catherine at all. She's quite she's a very shy girl. She's quite studious. She's very loving. She's so incredibly naive. It would like burst your mind. And he treats her like absolute shit. So they go to a ball and she meets Montgomery Clift and he goes through the whole love bombing stage. He's a bit of he's absolutely beautiful, but he's already squandered his fortune, and his father, her father, more or less tells her that he's just after her money and nothing else, you know. He takes her away in a wide trip to sort of like get him out of her system. And when they come back, they meet up again, and he says he will elope with her. I think she got like, you know, whatever her allowance was from her mother, but her father's threatened to cut her off. So she tells him, well, you know, if this happens, I won't have my fortune, la-di-da. So she packs all her bags and she waits for him and she waits for him and she waits for him all night, and he just doesn't ever come back because he was after her money. Basically, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And it is many years later that he reappears because her father has died. Now Olivia, or Catherine, at this point has turned very cold. Even on his deathbed, she wouldn't give her father the time of day. She just turned completely cold. She's implacable at this point. She's sort of gone from like the Queen of Cups to the Queen of Swords in reverse, you know. And so she has inherited her fortune, and he comes back. Morris, his name is. He comes back. And she actually convinces him that they should, you know, relive the night that they were supposed to elope. And her old aunt, who's played, I think, by Miriam Hopkins, who is all for it because she's a complete romantic, almost idiotic to that point. But basically what happens is she doesn't pack her bags or wait for Morrissey's return. She sat in her living room doing her cross-stitching or her embroidery, and he comes to the door and she sends a servant just to block, you know, the door, block it, lock it. And she just sits while he's calling and calling her name, and it dawns on him that she's absolutely played him at his own game, and he goes into complete panic and he's begging her. And she just turns the gas light down and goes up the stairs, and that's the end of the movie, which I've probably spoiled for you. But the fact that it's come through in your reading, Aries, is important. And the song that I did pick up on was Ocean Drive. He left you high and dry. And I also got how, and this is, I think, again, this is the auntie that says this. I wish I could remember her name, but I'm sure it's Miriam Hopkins. How can she be so cruel? And it's because she's been taught by, you know, her experience, by her father, by Morris. So, you know, the change in her in this movie is just mind-blowing. So anywho, that's the film that I got through for your reading. It does seem to relate to this reading. I pulled the cards afterwards, and I have got You Are Unlike Anyone Else. And with the Five of Cups. So I think this is someone who has been left ghosted or jilted, maybe made to feel that they don't have enough to offer. That, you know, Morris had a better option elsewhere, someone with a bit more money, and there just wasn't enough to keep them there. But with this is you're unlike anyone else. There is no one like you. This is the universe's only chance to have you in this world. Being your own self is not always easy. You have gone through a very difficult time, but you have passed the test and been reborn. You have done well to keep going, and now you can begin to see how worthwhile all the changes and sacrifices were. Although it seemed you were in an endless middle ground where you had no outcome and only repetitive tasks, judgment and criticism for your choices, a new time begins now. You have successfully reinvented yourself by doing what is not always easy. There will be more enjoyment and fulfillment and less to worry about, and something that once were difficult will now be simple for you. There will be exciting new people for you to meet, and some of your old friends will come on this journey of change with you. You worried, didn't you, about whether this time of goodness and hope would come? Well, have no doubt it is here. Your decisions are being challenged. There is confusion concerning who you are. People who you have been close to may draw away or feel betrayed and confused at this time because they no longer know, let's see, next page, who you are. This is a time for making choices that may seem to be odd to others, but which assist you in becoming the unique being you are. Refuse to be labelled and create your own style, look, approach and identity, even if it does not seem popular at first. Mash concepts and come up with approaches that are innovative and exciting. Stick to your truth and go through the challenging times in order to reach a place where you are accepted and loved for who you are. If this card reaches out to you while you are feeling extremely alone, take heart. And that really is what this Five of Cups is representing here. All will be worth the darker times. You have the light of your own truth on your side. And all who see it will come to know you truly and love you for all your contradictions. You are inventing the future not only for you, but for all those like you. Don't give up just before the miracle of change blooms into your life. Crikey, spot on for how I'm seeing this reading. I hope it comes across. So in January, Aries, we have the Two of Cups in reverse here. So this is a broken relationship, separation, arguments, disinterest. This really does seem to be very final indeed. I have got the Death card and the Five of Pentacles. So, you know, a definitive ending with the Five of Pentacles, particularly in this deck. There is an element of possible shame here. This is yeah, it's shame. It's someone who has made a poor decision here, and now we have a complete loss of hope in this situation. This can sort of suggest some depression, maybe even illness or arrogance, but it seems incredibly clear that this relationship has ended, and there is no return. There's no hope of a return here. Done, done, and done. And I do have a Death card confirming my Queen of Pentacles in reverse in February as well, just to doubly confirm it. Now, I have to say, given the sort of image that I got, I do think this probably represents the person I'm reading for. And this is cutting off the supply, really, because I do think this person was after your money, or, you know, your financial stability, and certainly what you could provide materially, even if it's not just money. And it has been an absolute eye-opener to you. So I think this is you becoming a bit of a teacher to yourself, and basically dealing with people who have really negative and destructive skills I really feel, I mean, I would normally say my Queen of Pentacles in arrears, and there you go, is a feminine who can be greedy. I just to get her in another reading, or someone who is financially unstable, or is financially needy. I honestly didn't feel that. I just felt that this was someone who had finally got someone's number and was cutting them off financially, to, as I say, to no return. With the Death card, this is a natural ending. This is time's up, done and done. 2 Death cards here, January and February. The 4 of Cups is who confirmed my Queen of Pentacles, in, oopsie, 4 of Cups. This can feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. I just sort of felt this is someone who's not prepared to listen anymore. In my Mythic Tarot, this is Psyche's sister getting in her head, trying to talk down her husband, or, you know, not necessarily talk him down, but, you know, give her a negative view of him. I sort of feel this is just not being prepared to listen. I feel my Queen of Pentacles is out, bolted the door, as Olivia has done, and not prepared to listen. And I do think this is Morris on the steps here, battering down the door with his Ilby, the retriever, and my topsy-turvies. Ilby is trying to get something back from your past, that which you've lost. So here he is, he's gone, he's travelled the world. He didn't come for her because she was to lose her inheritance. He made it perfectly clear why he didn't come for her. And he thought he had a second chance to persuade her to, you know, talk her. Actually, the word I got, which is not a word I'm familiar with, is a shill. And I even looked it up, and it's a plant, a stooge, someone who gives credibility to a person or organization without disclosing they have a close relationship with them. Yeah, I mean, she just sees Morris for who he is. I mean, he's so weak, it's fucking depressing. It really is depressing because he's so bloody gorgeous. And he's just weak. He's weak. He has to have the money, he has to be the boy about town and the fancy outfits, and yeah. So he bins her off, and off he goes in his travel, and just gets poorer and poorer, and he doesn't find anyone else. And he comes back thinking it'll just pick up that loose thread of old Catherine, but no, she's having none of it. So this is him completely discombobulated, trying to get her back, and she is not listening. She has cut off the supply. There's nothing here for him. I'm keeping all my money to myself. Have a nice life. And then we move on to March. My Queen of Cups. You're coming through as in March, so probably getting a bit more in touch with your emotional side, which I do think has been very much shut down. As I say, if you were to see this movie, the transformation in her is incredible. So I sort of feel, and I'm hopeful, that this is you getting back into a more sort of loving, compassionate, receptive space come March. However, the archetype here is the Lover in reverse, which is self-destructive devotion and obsessive passion that harms others. And Stoic with my Oakman, and this is where I got implacable from. Honestly, don't think this person, it could say anything, do anything. They could be bleeding out on the ground, and I think you would step over them and not even acknowledge them. Honest to God, that's what I'm getting. You have to see the movie. You have to see the movie. He has broken her heart so fucking completely that he would never penetrate it again. You know, there's nothing he could do, say, any predicament he could be in that could raise compassion from her. I do think you're moving into more of a heartfelt space, but it's not for our Morris here. And here comes Morris, my King of Wands, as a Messiah. Yeah, serving humanity with humility. Yeah, okay, sure. with the Master Maker 22. So this is my longevity couple. This is wanting to do things properly. This is all about skill and craftsmanship and moral strength. So this is him coming through as, you know, we want to get back together. I want to do it properly this time. I messed up. I made a horrible decision. I should have come back for you and I didn't. He wants to communicate that he wants a brand new start. And this is our Morris and our Morris or Montgomery Cliff. And here's Olivia up here bolting the door. There is no money. It's over. You broke my heart. You left me. It's done. Advice for Aries for the first 3 months of 2020. Advice for Aries, please. What advice do you have for Aries for this reading for the first 3 months? Love and let yourself be loved. Yeah, I do honestly think, my dear Aries, you do need to get back into your heart space in a good way and just accept that this was a complete and utter con man, and they're not all like that. So listen on. Don't let them spoil you for anyone else. Heart Guardian. The Heart Guardian is an angelic energy that can help you call for protection and guidance with the issues surrounding the heart. This is essentially the angel who helps with all relationships, whether they be with yourself, family, or even a romantic connection. She can enable you to move beyond any limiting fears about trust, discern whom to trust, and understand how you can move forward in a balanced relationship with that person. You are loving and lovable. The energy of love is surrounding your whole world at this time. Angels are swirling around you, encouraging you to open your heart and reveal the blessings that you have to offer. They want you to know that you're highly loving and deserve to give and receive love. If you're finding it challenging to feel love at this time, it's important for you to give yourself credit where it's due. You are also encouraged to welcome support from others. Learn to receive, but don't try and do everything on your own. If you're working on a relationship or are in a new relationship, this card can usher in energies that allow you to forge a powerful connection with your partner. Love is in the air. Yeah, this is really where you need to get to after this experience, Aries. It's probably not going to happen until after March, because but I just think this person has closed you down in such a dramatic way that it's closed you down to everyone. You know, you've lost your confidence in your own abilities to discern who is good for you, who is trustworthy, and who isn't, unfortunately. It is just an experience, and get back here. I know that just the fact that you came out the other end intact will mean that if you suffer the same fate, it will probably be shorter and you will still be intact. Okay. So there you go, Aries. Please like, please subscribe if you would like a personal. My information is below, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.